Alright, so in this one, we are going to be reacting to Goresh's ranking the top 10 best characters in the game, August 2023 edition. I do this every time. He doesn't seem to mind it. I've even asked him. He doesn't mind at all. So we're going to be ranking it. Well, not even ranking it, just giving my opinion on his opinion, and that's all. I mean, that's what you do when you see a tier list. You're like, oh, let me give my take on that take, and we'll go from there. And I'm very grateful he uploaded this because I was in the middle of doing a video and I was having no fun at all doing that video, so thank God this exists. That being said, let's begin.
I'll be jumping into a top 10 units list for Dragon Ball Legends. I am a bit late in terms of covering this. This is actually going to be the August 2023 edition. We are almost 2 weeks into September at this point, but we haven't gotten any big units releasing in September, so I'm just going to call this the August list. We do have a LF coming out in a few days from when I'm making this video. It should be a Dragon Ball Saga character, because that's the current episode campaign going on. But all these characters were out in August, so I'm going to call this the August 2023 edition. Again, I apologize a little late on this, but it is what it is. So, as always, I'm going to just quickly rattle off 3 things, and then we'll jump into the video. So, number 1, all characters are considered at 14 stars in their best possible scenarios, essentially.
There's one thing that's very like,
number 2, I like to view this list as a top 10 rankings of best characters in the game in the current meta. This is not an individual list. I'm not looking at the individual traits of characters to solely decide where they fall on the top 10 list based off of their individual characteristics. Obviously, their individual characteristics plays a factor into where they drop, but it's not everything. This is mostly a list, and this is going to be very important for this particular list. So I think there are a number of characters you could put at this number 10 spot, and I think I actually made the same comment in the last tier list video as well, where I think I had Orange Piccolo.
Me personally, I have Rakumen Goldo or Ultra Rose, right? Yeah, Rakumen Goldo or Ultra Rose at number 10. And that's more because of the fact that, you know, obviously Rakumen Goldo, they have value because they're yellow-green. You have Goku out, you have Goku Frieza out. You have blue and purple is really dominating the game, right? It's one red unit, and everything else is really blue and purple. I mean, sure, there's a game list that's like a yellow, but that's one and one of a yellow and red compared to these 7 other fucking blue and purple. So Rakumen Goldo, you would think very good value, or at least a green that could type neutral, or a yellow that could be, you know, type neutral as well, something like that. So Rose is a unit that can type neutral, that's green, so his value obviously shoots up as well. Kid Buu, I can understand this. I even contemplated it myself. I was like, he's, you know, this top 15 area, sure, but 15 through like 11, I say we're all like debatable for like that number 10 spot. I even had Rakumen Goldo and Rose in the same exact tier, so it's like, you know, you could definitely see a situation where you have a yellow that gains some value because this red unit lost value of UVB because Goku's just so good, and that makes sense. LF17 is very good. Goku Frieza still the best unit in the game. Gonna be the case here as well. So I could get Kid Buu. Let me actually hear those. I didn't have him there, so I'm curious.
I actually think you could put Orange Piccolo at number 10 in this video too for the August list, but I went with Kid Buu. Kid Buu has very high potential. It's just,
I don't think he has that.
I think, you know, even with Ultra Vegito Blue being crippled thanks to the release of Namek Goku, recently, like, you still see him a lot. Like, he's one of the most common units you run into is Vegito Blue, and I think one of the main reasons is because he's just so easy to use. And he's Vegito Blue. He's like one of the most popular characters in the game, right? The most recent Summon Ultra character, again, super easy to use. He has one of the easiest ways to get combos started in the game with the vanish removal and stuff like that. So that's why this Kid Buu is not higher on the list. He's number 10. But I think the main reason why I only have Kid Buu at number 10 here is because we are at a point now where Regen really, really, really needs a strong blue character, and they just don't have one.
Blue's Masu is some
you could
fucking
theoretically
booty
put like 17 on leader for a Regen, and I've actually seen a lot of teams, or a lot of players running a variant of Regen where it's 17 Orange Piccolo and Kid Buu. It's just a green card generating machine team, and you just feed the green cards to Kid Buu, and Kid Buu goes off. But
excluding Cell from a lineup like that, I feel like it's just so crippling to you, because Cell can 1v3. Cell literally 1v3s teams so easily. Cell, and if he's not that like high up, I won't really understand it too much, but like Cell minimum to me has to be like a top 6 unit or something along those lines, like 6, 5, maybe even 4, right? Touching that area. Cell he is the current most free unit in the game. You know, you have Goku and you have Rose as a check, right? You have Goku Frieza. Okay, you don't really have a full check, but you're running these units and you can kind of just like understandably deal with them. You've dealt with them so long, you can figure out a way to deal with it. But Cell, he's new. There's no check to Cell. You're not running into anything that does check Cell. You're not running into this yellow, even though you can run this yellow. Again, there's a multitude of options, which that word's always funny to me because context. But there's a lot of options that could be used as that number 10 slot. Kid Buu, it could, again, he said Orange Piccolo. That's a green unit, so wouldn't, you know, Cell have more value if he put Piccolo there instead of Kid Buu? Obviously. So, well, number 10 is Kid Buu. And I can understand the situation for it because, again, UVV value goes down because Goku value is high up. Yeah, that makes sense. But how I'd have it is it wouldn't be a yellow. It would have to be a green for number 10. But I can understand Kid Buu. Again, he's not far off from top 10 for me. He's still in this top 15, maybe even top 20 area, a little lower, like 16, 17 type of thing. But I understand it. I don't fully agree with Kid Buu, but I can still, like, I get the thought process, right? I don't want to stay on one topic the whole entire time with one unit, so we'll move to number 9 here.
And at number 9, we have Zenkai Sword of Hope Trunks. This guy's definitely fallen a few spots, I think, from my prior list. Main reason why is because this guy was introduced at the same time, basically at the same time. Like, I think he actually came out a week before Vegito Blue did, but this guy was basically introduced as a way to check Vegito.
So I have Sword of Hope number 7, and I'm looking at 8 and 9. I have Ginyu at 8, and I have Omen at 9. I'm just going to assume Omen's not going to be on here. You just don't need Omen. Like, he's just a secondary option. You know, you don't need to, like, rate a secondary option high. Even though he's still pretty good, you just don't need him. So, 7 for Sword of Hope for me, and this is 9. I think that's a little bit of downplay, but let me hear some.
They probably figured that Vegito was going to be so strong that they should release some kind of character to put him in check, at least, you know, a new character to put him in check. I mean, he does have checks already, but this was probably one of the bigger ones to put into the game with Vegito Blue coming out. At this point, with Namek Goku coming out, you don't really need this character as much anymore. He's still really strong, and he still does his job well in terms of deterring Vegito Blue. Especially when you pair, like, one of the more common teams right now is for sure still the Vegito Blue, Sword of Hope Trunks, and Goku and Frieza setup, because even if Vegito Blue rushes this Trunks, he's not going to die, because Goku and Frieza are nullifying Vegito Blue's endurance nullification from standby. So
I don't think it was ever very good.
This character can still perform effectively in that regard.
Just more annoying.
You really don't need to rely as much on this character now with Namek Goku existing. And I think one thing else to remember as well is,
but you could
one of this.
Let's say he has Ultra. I'm assuming Ultra Rose makes this area. I don't know. I'm just because I can see his list, but like, I'm not looking at it anymore. Right? It just exists. So I remember it from like looking at it just a few minutes ago. And I know Ultra Rose is making it here. Let's say that's the only green making it. Wouldn't you just run Sword of Hope? I don't know. Let's say you run Sword of Hope, Goku, and UVB. I don't know. Just an example, right? You can run double blues, though. That's my point. And that's a thing that's like, well, Sword of Hope definitely can lose value because Goku's just better than him. I don't think Sword of Hope is that far off from Goku. Like, I mean, Sword of Hope does neutral, right? Sword of Hope does do that. Well, Goku doesn't. I guess Goku's, like, trade-off is his lock-in instead of that neutral. And that makes sense, but I think there's a little bit of a devalue of Sword of Hope in just the way he's speaking about him. I don't really see him, like, gassing him, because he's a very good unit. Sword of Hope's, like, one of the least toxic, but, like, one of the most competent units in the entire game right now, if not the actual most competent, least toxic. He doesn't really have any toxic traits. He just, you know, okay, oh my god, he has Gauge, he's a little annoying, you reduced your key, just swap out, you get 80 fucking million key on entry, right? Like, every unit does. Every top 10 unit gets, like, a billion fucking key on entry, besides the new Goku. He doesn't get any, but you know, that's the only, like, annoyance with this Trunks. And I think there's a little bit of downplay from Goresh here on this unit. He's not gassing him as much as you'd think, especially because that setup of UVB, Goku Frieza, and himself was used a lot. And Sword of Hope was maybe not carrying it, but he was definitely doing a lot of work on it that was just under discussed.
Assets is his unique gauge filling up. His unique gauge filling up reduces the enemy's key by 100, which is really strong, but we are at the point now in this game where a lot of characters can overcome that, right? I mean, you just switch another character that's key on entry, maybe they are able to use a green card and increase
really
their
that
ki. Again,
annoying.
like one of the things I always like to do when I'm fighting this Trunks is if I'm using Goku and Frieza, I just switch to Goku and Frieza, use a green card, and I have like 60 ki. And I'm going to be comboing forever again. So a lot of times you have these really strong characters.
Oh,
even
what a
like
mistake
Namek
of a
Goku,
unit
right?
they are, huh?
You can switch into a different character and then go into Namek Goku. Namek Goku gets like 50 ki on his first card used, or 40 ki, or whatever it is, right? So there's definitely ways to work around this Trunks' unique gauge. And I think, again, if you're able to do that, that is one of the stronger parts of this character that you're able to overcome. This character is very, very defensive. Like, his defenses are very, very high, and that's probably one of the more strong aspects of this character
I
as well.
wouldn't really call him
I tend to
tanky,
view this
but
character more
I
as a
guess he's
defensive tool,
tankier
more
than
so
a lot of
an
units,
offensive tool.
sure.
But he can still do pretty good damage, right? That first strike card he does upon entry is getting the extra, I think it's, what, 100% extra damage inflicted, so that's pretty strong. His ultimate hits very hard, so he's still a really good character, but I just feel like, you know, if you're going for a tool to specifically fight against Vegito Blue, at this point we do have better options.
Well, yeah, to fight Vegito Blue,
Goku with his release.
Goku would be better, but
there's definitely still a strong character. He's
Cell,
number 9 on my list.
you're just
not
free.
really much else to say. It's just a strong unit, very, very good LF Zenkai.
I can understand number 9.
Let's move on to number 8.
I just don't agree with it at all. There he is. Number 8, Ultra Rosé. So I personally, again, I thought his peak would be number 10. Because how he works, Rosé is just very finicky. They kind of made him in a way that was, I guess, bad aging. It's not really terrible aging, but it's just more bad aging. Not look at Hit, right? Hit is just MIA, and that's not because of a lack of yellows, because, you know, you see the game as decently enough. You see these blue units, which Hit does more too, right? So they made these two ultras kind of finicky, but Rosé's build-up is like his cup pen is very, you have to have abnormal conditions to the enemy, and that takes a little bit extra cards, because the first card isn't abnormal conditions, right? They're not bleeding, nothing's going on to them. That first card you do and land with Rosé won't ever be, you know, having that effect, so he just takes a little bit longer to build up cup pen. He has to wait for his main ability to get his neutral. It's just a little bit of wait time. And I feel like that wait time definitely devalues him in this certain meta, because everyone beats the ever-living shit out of you quick as fuck. Maybe Goku doesn't, but like, that's it. UVB, auto-click, 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 Cell, triple card draw speed, frame 2 of the fucking match, Kid Buu, triple card draw speed when he has his gauge, infinite, lock-in, bullshit, you know, all this bullshit just kind of goes fucking ballistic, very fast, very out of thin air. Goku Frieza, they tag out one time, they're doing 80 million damage, it's a type fucking disadvantage, right? So Rosé being a slower unit, I just can't see him here at number 8, I just can't at all, but let's hear his reasoning.
Alright, so at number 8, I have Ultra Rosé Goku Black. I was definitely a bit conflicted as to whether to put this guy at number 9 or number 8. My gut was telling me to put him at 9 and put Trunks at 8, but my brain was telling me to put this guy at number 8. Okay, I honestly think you could switch them if you want. You could have this guy number 9, you get Trunks number 8, whatever. I think it's both are fine. I went with this guy at number 8 because there's just 5 million good blue characters right now. Like
He's right.
You queue up into PvP, you're basically running into at least one blue character. I usually count Goku and Frieza as half a blue character, because I think most of the time when you're fighting against Goku and Frieza, when they're not comboing you, they are switched in with Goku. At least that's my experience fighting them. Most of the time they are switched in with Goku unless they're comboing you, in which case most of the time they're switched in with Frieza. A lot of times what happens is they switch into Goku and Frieza mid-combo, use a green card, then switch to Frieza to finish the combo out, and then they'll go back into Goku when the combo's done. But you have like 17, you have sort of Trunks, you have now Namek Goku, you have Revival Frieza still floating around, you have the rare Jisen Birder, so the Birder side of that character, of course you have Goku and Frieza, the Frieza side of that
slide that one in there, huh?
Of blue characters now.
Right.
And that's why I think this Rosé has definitely gained a lot of value recently, especially with the release of Namek Goku. In top rank PvP, especially in Japan, you run into Namek Goku basically every single match.
Yeah, you run into Namek Goku pretty often here
this
as well.
Rosé
I would say
every
every
value, but I guess it also speaks to how
so
strong power creep has been recently, because you would expect with how many blues are running around right now that this Rosé would be a little higher on the list. It's just tough to get this guy going, because a lot of his damage is dependent on you actually ramping up, and this guy ramps up by attacking the enemy. And it's just a little tougher with this character these days, because this guy doesn't get cover null super easily. He gets it on when he fills his gauge up. His gauge takes a while.
Yeah, his cover null sucks.
So
I mean, really,
look
at Hit, UGB, all these others. Rosé's cover null is the worst out of all those new ultras.
Pretty fast, especially with the introduction of Namek Goku and how snowball he is.
pain.
This is actually a pretty good comparison, I think, to Namegoku, this Rose. I think they're both snowball-y characters.
Yeah, but
this Rose is a lot slower of a snowball character. Like, think about 2 snowballs building up. Namegoku, you roll the snowball for 3 seconds, it's built up already. This Rose takes like a good half a minute to a minute of rolling that snowball to build it all the way up. So that's why I don't have.
Like I said, he's too slow. Really good damage. He just doesn't do enough. He's good, but he's slow.
I fought.
You can't be slow.
14-star full Z plus Zenkai buff Rosés with my Namegoku team, and Namegoku honestly doesn't really get too phased by him.
Yeah.
It's not until really deep into the fight where
that's my point with this.
Rosé's like used.
He can't be this high up. He's not hurting the blue. I mean, fuck.
He gets to a pretty scary level. But until you get to that point, I mean, this guy is just like.
If there's anything I can add to this that's like really adding fully, is that Rosé, while he's competent, he's not consistent. You're not every single match like Goku Frieza, like Goku, like UVB. I guess UVB less because, you know, obviously him being a red unit right now. But prior to this, you know, Goku coming out, you would have them just consistently. Or Cell. Cell's a very good example. Goku Frieza and Cell. And the new Goku. You're always consistently just going the fuck off with them. They're either infinite comboing or they're about to just 1v3 the entire match. That's going to happen. Rosé, that can happen. It could always happen with the character. But Rosé's not going to be a consistency level of, let's say, Cell or Goku Frieza or new Goku. He's just not there. I would say Rosé's about as consistent as like a Kid Buu or Sword of Hope. While these characters can clutch up, they can do great. Sword of Hope probably has easier timings on potential because there's just not many greens running out. And Rosé obviously has to deal with a little bit of purples here. The timing of potential for Sword of Hope is about equivalent to Rosé. It's not that he's just bad, it's that he's just not always going to be consistent. And that's like the biggest gripe I have with him. If you're slow and inconsistent, I ain't trying to use you. You just gotta get a little bit of, you know, oomph to you. If he doesn't have that, well, you're just going to get fumbled, and you're going to fumble the match because your unit is just simply worse than the newest thing. That makes sense, but like he said, a green unit, you would think they'd be a lot higher for how good they are, Dragon Ball Destruction, all this other bullshit they can do, and their steamroll effect, but his steamroll, it's kind of like a steamer going like 3 miles per hour, like she said with the snowball shit, versus the other characters at the top, or just barely above him, being like a vacuum cleaner going like 50 miles per hour. Like, what the fuck? Why would I use the fucking steamroller thing? It wouldn't make sense.
A solid green character. And to be honest, he's probably the best.
Like I said, I can understand these placements. I don't have to fully agree with them to understand them, because that's just not how it's always going to be. But Rosé, I would probably disagree with this the most. I think Sword of Hope obviously should be higher, because Sword of Hope is just very free right now, and you just run Sword of Hope, Rosé, Cell, you're just fucking vibing out, really. But I always swap those two. If he's going to have Rosé top 10, again, I can argue Rosé 10. I don't really debate that. Shit, I can even argue Rosé 9. I think Omen, Rosé, Rikumen, Goldo are this interchangeable aspect, and you can argue wherever the fuck you want for either or of those 3 units, but I get the thought process behind it, but he's explaining why he shouldn't be in here. So, you know, that's just what I see from it. Let's go to number 7 now.
Moving on to number 7, we have LF Perfect Form Cell here.
Low key, that's pretty low. I expected a lot higher. Cell? What do I have him? Like 4 or 5? Yeah, no, Cell. Again, I've said it, and I'll keep saying it until there's a very fucking amazing, you know, group of yellows that just come back, because only yellow right now is the Gammas. And Gammas really are not that, like, they're like the least seen unit, maybe up to like Ginyu, that could be like discussed. I know damn well Ginyu's going to be here, right? Ginyu's just really fucking good, especially even if he's not run on a team. He's just individually a fucking god, and he's very tedious. But Gammas and Ginyu are like the least seen units. Cell is seen a lot, so I'm surprised he's lower than anything, but let me hear this.
So this is definitely an interesting character. The thing about this character is he's on a lot of teams. He's on Powerful Opponent, he's on Future, he's on Androids, and he's on Regen.
Yeah, you're running him on Androids or
Cell
Future.
Character. They're on a lot of different teams, which I think is very valuable. Yes. I would say this character being a Blast character probably at the moment probably fits the best on Androids. You would think. You would think he fits the best on Androids. And I think the main team people would imagine you running this character on with androids is this guy next to Blue 17, next to the Gammas. Now, the problem with that is it's definitely not a bad team, right? The Cell is going to do well on that team. But the problem with that team is every time you would want to switch into the Cell to get a combo going and, like, you know, string together long combos, he's basically eating time away from the Gammas doing that. The Gammas are a character you want to invest as much time with them on the battlefield as possible.
I understand that reasoning, and shit, to even an extent, I agree with it. Because I run androids decently because I just really like the Gammas, so I just run very good android units, you know? That's what you do when you have all the units in the game. You run the very good units sometimes. Not the broken, annoying ones, but, like, you know, very good ones. Cell, though, he is very fucking annoying. But comparably to others, right? I get that, but how I see Cell, and maybe it's an incorrect way of looking at him, you can use Cell, like, in this, you know, the first combo, you're not going to have your gauge. I guess you could, you know, technically stay in to get your gauge, but you really don't need to. You can just swap out to the Gammas, that first combo. Then the next combo you land, okay, here's Cell, bring him back in, and then your gauge about to pop. So you just did a card, maybe you did 2 blast spam, and then you got your whole hand back because you got your gauge. Okay, that's your Cell combo. So I feel like you can walk a fine line between, like, here's the Gammas building up, and Cell doing his work of just being fucking amazing. Or you could use him in a situation of forcibly just making him go pop off early game, whether he dies early or not, doesn't fucking matter to you. And then you have, you know, here's your LF-17 that could type neutral. Here's your gauge that could pop earlier for your LF-17. Then it's all up to your Gammas. But I can understand that. It's just, even though that exists, Cell can just simply carry the fuck out of it. Like, you can use the Gammas on that team, and, you know, they can do very well, but they're just going to be slower. What you do with Cell is you just simply win. If you just run Cell and androids, you just simply win. I get your Gammas aren't going to pop off very well, and maybe that would devalue them, and it probably would, but you just, again, you just use Cell there, and you're just free. There's nothing stopping Cell. He does more to yellows. The only yellow running around, he's killing and murdering. I just think this is a lot lower than Cell should be, considering there's no contestation for him, and there is an attempted green with Rose trying to run around a lot more. I just have to have more respect for Cell here.
Eating hits or doing hits to build up their unique gauge to do the core breaker. This Cell is basically the same style of unit as them. This character is a character that is able to string together very, very long combos with his unique gauge being built up, getting cover and all, getting key
just
back,
like Goku,
a lot of cards.
Pain in the ass.
And then when he dies, he of course has the death AoE. I think that death AoE is probably this character's best asset. The fact that he basically is able to take a... I mean, unless you're going up against like a type disadvantage yellow character,
I think it's a very good asset.
He's able to do insanely broken levels of damage with his AoE. I think that's probably going to be the best asset for this character moving forward. And I think that's probably one of the things that's going to allow him to out-age many of the characters on this list, is that death AoE. So I think his design kind of clashes a little bit with the Gammas.
Look at Tapion.
And I think a lot of people Eastern Japan here have started to notice that as well. And so I've actually seen more people sort of shy away from the Cell and the Android setup. And I've seen most people who use androids sort of, I guess, commit to the magenta style of the android team, which is just the same team except without the Cell. You run magenta. And then you run the double Zenkai buff Gamma build with the EX first form
running over Cell
and the Zenkai yellow perfect form Cell on the bench, or the perfect Cell on the bench. The double Zenkai buff the Gamma, you just go all in on the Gamma strategy. And honestly, I think that probably will work a little bit better. So I actually think the best setup for the Cell's future,
more tag healing.
Next to
they heal a lot of their tag unit.
You can create a really dumb... you could create a really dumb situation where the Cell blows up, and then you enter with Vegito Blue. With his first time entering the battlefield, he removes his enemies vanish. You could either just rush, because the enemy can't do anything, right? Imagine the situation. The Cell blows up, and then Vegito Blue enters for the first time. They can't switch, because you inflict no switching. You lock their main ability. Vegito comes in, he locks their Rising Rush, and he removes their Vanish. And the Cell destroys all their cards when he dies. So they can't vanish, they have 0 cards in their hand, they can't rush, and they can't main ability. So a lot of times what will happen is that Cell will blow up, Vegito comes in, you can either just instantly rush with him, or you can just main and ult right away. And
so why is he lower?
Pretty much nothing is surviving that, essentially.
Like,
so that I think is a really good setup for the Cell. He works just fine as like a third option for future too. Like, you can run this Cell next to like Sword of Hope Trunks and Vegito Blue in future. You can run the Cell next to Rose and Vegito Blue in future. I think the Cell, even though he technically is more of a blast character, his strikes, like his strike, if you build him strike base, he can actually do pretty well because the Cell actually has.
He gets like 20%
blast. A higher
on,
strike stat, a higher strike stat than blast stat. So you could technically build some strike and he'll be fine, which is again another really good design idea I think that they gave to this character. So. I think this character right now is in a little bit of a weird spot because you don't really want to run him on like what would appear to be his best team. I think because his design clashes with the other.
You definitely want to run
best
the
character on the team. Or whatever you want
I understand what he's saying, but I don't agree with what he's saying at all. On the Android
but I think this is a very, very good
character.
Run not really that's his too many design flaws in my opinion. Just a solid all-around unit. And I think he fits pretty well at number 7 on this list. So let's move on to number 6. At number 6 on the list, we have
There he is. All right. Ginyu. Well, I could say Ginyu's like 6 or 7, so I'm not going to debate this. I think Ginyu's very good. Ginyu's very slept on. As I've said in the past, people were not going to summon on Ginyu because people do not give a shit about Ginyu. And shockingly, people didn't summon on Ginyu, right? You don't run into Ginyu very often. You run into Ginyu the least out of probably every single unit that will be mentioned here. I guess maybe Kid Buu, but... Kid Buu's a fucking yellow and Ginyu's a purple. Like, you would definitely be fighting Ginyu's a lot more if it was a different character, but it was still the same exact kit, right? But, Ginyu, very good unit, very annoying unit. One of the best units in the game when he is revived. Like, this unit's, like, minimum top 5 when he is in Ginyu Goku, and that's not hard to get at all. Which is nice because it looked a lot harder to get on paper than it is in, actual, play. Which is, again, very nice for him, but... He's not going to be seen. I would actually think Cell should be higher just because maybe Ginyu is better individually. Sure, why not? Let's just say that for the sake of it, though Cell has better teams. Let's just say Ginyu's better individually. Cell, the amount of play you see in a unit, it has to factor somewhere. You're not seeing any play in Ginyu. I mean, comparably to other units that are here. I know damn well you're seeing Cell a lot more. You're seeing Sword of Hope a lot more. So I would say Ginyu has to go lower, but individually, yes, I get it why he's here, and he can even be higher than that individually, but overall, though, I think he has to teeter down just a tad bit. I can't have Ginyu over Cell. It just doesn't make sense to me. Number 5, though.
Top 5. All right, feel free to head down to the...
Ooh. I wonder if there's a lot of timestamps at 21:56 here. It's like, oh, that happened. Yeah, I get it. UVB. Oh, so Gammas haven't been mentioned. I assume, well, they have to be up here, right? Because he's mentioning of the Gammas, but he's not mentioning their placement. UVB number 5, I think that's a little bit lower than I'd have him. I mean, I could, like, I was thinking to myself when I first made my own list, it was like, oh, yeah, he could be this area of like, 3, 4, 5, but like 5's like really low. It's like kind of downplay at that point. I would have Cell over UVB if I were gonna have anybody, and clearly it's not gonna be Cell. It's probably gonna be the Gammas here, and I can't have the Gammas over UVB. No. Cell, again, I could get it, because like Cell's running with the safety of here's Sword of Hope, here's LS17, here's just a blue, purple, Goku, Frieza, and fucking Cell. I don't know, run that. Let's see how it fucking works. It probably works fucking wonders for no reason at all. It's leader slot Cell, you yell Zenkai buffs to the other two, Cell, whatever the fuck he's getting, he's getting. He's probably vibing the fuck out, right? So if the Gammas are above, no, the Gammas I can't have above UVB. Just not currently. Just, they're not safety enough. They're run with LS17, and he's not protecting them. Like, LS17 is very fragile, right? Just what he does in his own, ult stuff, the blue card stuff, all the debuff stuff, and just canceling attribute upgrades, buff effects, that's his tankiness. That's his durability. It's not really durability, it's team durability that he's offering, obviously, to the team. So, if I were to have UVB 5, I'd have Cell 4. So, yeah, that's where that's looking. And probably would have the Gammas at 7, actually. Gammas 6 or 7 with Ginyu. Obviously, I'd probably have Gammas 6. But UVB, number 5, I'm really not going to stay on this because I know damn well I can understand this, especially if Cell were number 4. But, he's lost. It's very simple. Blue beats red. So, blue go up, red go down. I mean, that's really the simplest math I can say. The top 3 is going to be all blues. And that's just how it is. So, red go down, blue go up. If you're going to say, oh, he can neutral. Yep, he definitely can with his green card counter that is very predictable from a lot of players. Or his Rising Rush, which is just 10 counts. I can deal with 10 counts in neutral. It's not that hard. Some spots it's definitely more difficult than not, but yeah, no. 5, it's the lowest I'd ever see him or have him currently, but number 5 I can genuinely accept and understand, especially if Cell were 4. Again, it's probably going to be the Gammas, but Yeah. UVB 5, I get it. Blue up, down red. Math. That's the simplest way to explain it for me, and that's all I really need to hear. That just makes sense. His best fucking savior is a green that is slow, and again, very much slower than the current meta.
4. Okay, so we're gonna move on to number 4 now. We have the tag Gamma 1 and 2
now
unit
this,
here.
I don't know about this.
So
this is probably
in
like the
Vegito
hottest
Blue
one for
section
me.
that I think you could swap Vegito Blue in this character. Maybe. I say maybe because I wouldn't do that. I think the Gammas at this point have a bigger impact on the meta and are better fit to win.
What are the
right now,
meant to
they're just in a better position
better off, though,
in the current meta
UVB
by
fell.
far than Vegito Blue. I mean, what other red unit are you seeing in the meta right now? Right? I mean, this character, it's not like they're reversing their typing and going reverse yellow. Like, this is a yellow character through and through no matter who you're swapped into, Gamma 1 and 2. And there's really no like major threat to this character besides Vegito Blue.
Yeah,
so
but
I think
Vegito Blue's every match, so it's like
floating around right now, and it's
know?
becoming a little tougher to run Vegito Blue thanks to that. There's been a slight downturn in the amount of Vegito Blues that are floating around, but he's still relatively common, which is why this character is not really that much higher.
You said it. Vegito Blue's like every game.
I think you could potentially swap this character and the character at number 3. I'm pretty comfortable with this character being at number 4, but if you're
Top
like somebody who's a
Gammas.
Gamma fanatic, I don't know if I would really argue too much if you wanted to move this character up to number 3, but I'm pretty comfortable with them being at number 4 here.
Damn.
So clearly their main team is right now the Android team, unless we start getting like really blast-based movies characters, which probably won't be. We'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah, this Gamma character is ridiculous. Again, there's not really any major threatening red units besides Vegito Blue right now. I would say I think the biggest
yeah, but UVB, like you could say, yeah, there's no one else. That he's right. There is nobody else, but it's not like the Gammas are just this impenetrable wall that, like, if there's no red, they're just fucking carrying everything. They don't always carry stuff. I mean, again, if you're gonna run Cell, running on Blast Androids is just better off for his equipment, for his setup, for everything. It's just every single setting for Cell is better on Blast Androids. And then Cell can just carry a match. The Gammas could be there, they could help, they can do well, they can clutch. Great. But, like, who's doing everything? It's usually Cell. So I don't know what the Gammas are up here
It's not
for.
even just their damage, it's their defense, right? This character is healing when they tag in and out. This character is healing the first time they get hit. 17 is healing them whenever anybody uses an ultimate or a blue card against them. Yep. This is a character that I fight with, you know, like my blue Namek Goku and Goku and Frieza setup. Where
I will say
I'm actually
Androids
really apprehensive to even just lock this character in and ult them with Namek Goku because a lot of the time they can live thanks to 17 being on the bench. And then this character lives the ultimate, you know, they heal up from it, they switch into the other character, they tag out, they heal up again, and then you hit them again with an attack and they heal again, right? It's just, it's very, very tough to kill this character.
They can be tedious.
And then, you know, they eventually built their core breaker, and their core breaker is essentially a one-shot. I mean, there's instances where you can have characters maybe live it, but
if, like,
it does ridiculous amounts of AoE damage. Remember, they're killing Dragon Balls when they do the preparation mode.
Yeah.
They're killing Dragon Balls on their blue card. They're getting Vanish back with their green cards. Like, this character is doing a lot of intangible things that I think are, I think a lot of times overlooked by a lot of players. And I think this character really is what I don't want to slander Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta from the Buu saga, but this is really how I guess how they should be designing preparation mode characters.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad because Goku
they're very good.
They're the first
I think the Gammas are like 5 through 6, but this, no, this is too high for me. Again, UVB, he's lost value. I get it. Blue up, red down, math. Yes, I get it. But that doesn't disregard the fact of UVB existing. You can't just say, oh yeah, well the Gammas are going to be this high with, again, LS17 does not stop UVB, right? Goku does stop UVB. Sword of Hope does not stop UVB. He hurts him, but doesn't stop him, right? I mean, yes, he stops a combo, but okay, one fucking combo, just get another one. It's not hard to do. And Goku Frieza, they probably, they do okay. They're like a little bit worse than LS17 because, well, you're half fucking purple. So you're half neutral, half advantage, half fucking neutral, right? So you have 3 units that don't really stop the character. Goku does. Goku does great, but Gammas aren't run with Goku. So I can't see this in any light where UVB is below the Gammas. It just doesn't make sense to me in any capacity. No. Cell, he could be here. I completely agree with that. And that'd be the only unit you could swap to have, like, this number 4 spot. If you're going to have UVB5, only Cell could be number 4. I can't have any other character there. No shot at all. Which sucks, because, again, the gamers are very good, right? But you just, every single time I run up against androids, it's the Cell show. It's not the Gammas, it's not LF17, it's the Cell show. Every single time, because you're not running a yellow, you're not running anything to ever, like, stop him. You can't stop Cell. He's just so free, and it's just like, well, fuck, here I am. There's no key reduction unit that's going to stop Cell. There's none that even really exists to stop Cell. I guess LS17 can help stop Cell? Not really. I guess the blue card ultimate, or rather the blue card stuff, because he only has a blue card. Sure, you could argue, oh, Goku, because he reduced ki. Cell gets 1 billion ki. Cell gets ki for fucking breathing air. Like, he gets 1 million of it. Cell, I think, has a lot of respect to be deserved here over the Gammas, but it's his list. I can disagree all I want. It's still his list. Number 3, though. Let's see.
Number 3. All right, number 3 on the list is going to be LF17.
Okay. Me personally, so I have it. Goku Frieza clearly number 1, LF17 number 2, and then Goku number 3. So I would assume this is going to be LF17, Goku Frieza, right? With that, you know, I want to hear this.
This guy's been on the list since January, so I'm really not going to go into much detail. I mean, I don't really. What do I even say at this point? I should just have a pre-recorded Android 17 voiceover when this guy shows up on the lists from now on, because it's just going to be the same thing every time. This guy's number 3 on the list. He came out 8 months ago. 8. Yeah. Remember when I said when this character came out, this guy will potentially age as well as LF Future Gohan? Well, here we are. He's number 3 on the list.
I'm just looking at orange.
But again, I think a major part of this is just because we have like 0 green units right now. Like, who's the best green unit?
Exactly.
I think
like he'll lose value, but like
Orange Piccolo I think is definitely better than people think.
This is his best he'll ever be.
The thing with Orange Piccolo is he and Rose are completely different types of characters. You're not like soloing teams with Orange Piccolo. I would actually say Orange Piccolo is a lot more similar to the 17 in terms of his design than he is to Rose. 17,
I get that.
Orange Piccolo is more of a supporting character that's able to generate green cards, act as a Rising Rush deterrent with his revival, reduce card draw speed on cover change. So he's doing a lot of intangible things, but the 17 is just on.
So we're going to just retouch on details about the unit, and I get that. That's fine. So he's going to have Goku 2, right?
Completely different level.
Oh, let me click on it.
All right, coming in number 2, we have LF.
Okay. So Goku's 2.
Super Saiyan Namek Goku. This is the newest premium summonable character to release in the game. And I think they definitely did a tremendous job with his design and how strong he is compared to the other best units in the game. I mean, I have him at number 2 for a reason here. This Namek Goku is ridiculous. I made this comment in my God Rank video, which I'm not sure which is going to go up first, this video or the God Rank video, so I'll talk about that in this video too. But it really feels like if you're able to land 2 combos with this character, your win rate is like 90%. Like, you have like a 90% chance to win the fight if you land 2,
because you'll have the
gauge
half full at least, you get to do the ult to lock in, you get your gauge pop from the first.
Yeah, this character able to get multiple levels of card draw speed, chain cover nulls.
So you're just going to explain the kit, which is fine as well. So he has Goku Frieza. I'm not going to look at it because who the fuck needs explanation for Goku Frieza? You really don't. Goku Frieza number 1, Goku number 2, LS17 number 3, Gamma's 4, UVB 5, Ginyu 6, Cell 7, Sort of Hope, Rose 8, Sort of Hope 9, yeah, that needs to swap to me, and Kid Buu 10. Yes, definitely the Gammas for me. Probably for a lot of people, it's like, oh my god, UVB, how the fuck is he below a yellow? And that makes sense as a good question, and I really don't know the answer to that. But, Cell, I just feel like there's a lot of Cell downplay, really. That's like my biggest gripe. Cell 7. 7 is low. Like, for a unit that's just completely and absolutely free as fuck, and is on very good teams as well. Like Ginyu, sure, fine, downplay him because he's not seen a lot, he doesn't have as good teams as Cell, and he's not run on as many teams as Cell, right? And maybe even his equipment are lackluster compared to Cell. Downplay Ginyu, that's fine. And individually, he's still, like, again, 6 is a very good spot for Ginyu, but, like, you know, downplay him over Cell. That's fine. Cell, though, Cell is just everywhere. He is that guy. Like, if there's a that guy character that's new and not, you know, from Anniversary, and not, like, the newest thing in the entire game of Goku, it's Cell. Cell is easily that guy. He is ballistic right now. He doesn't care what color you are because you're not a yellow unit. And, well, even if you were a yellow unit, you're probably not going to be that tanky anyways. Kind of look at LF17 to UVB. While he is a blue to red, UVB still beats the ever-living dog shit out of him, right? Similar thing to, like, Cell to most yellows that probably come out. They probably wouldn't be tanky, but they would be just, you know, very good offensively. And Cell could probably still destroy the ever-living shit out of them. Right now, though, there's not even a single yellow that really could counteract Cell. You're not running into the gamers that often, and even if you are, Cell is run with either UVB or just anywhere. I mean, you could run Cell on Future, right? He even mentioned run Cell on Future. That'd be a better setup of it. But, yeah, there's definitely Cell downplay. Gammas are very high comparably to what they should be, I think. I don't think they have this top 4 dog in them, especially with UVB just being UVB. I'd love to see the game as top 4, but I just can't see that for myself personally. But what do you guys think of my reaction to Goresh's top 10 list of August 2023? I'll see you guys in the next one.